that dopalicious. And the crowd goes wild.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a very different video for me. I'm going to be doing a story time, and as you guys know, I usually don't do story time videos on my channel, and that's mainly just because I feel like they're like clickbait, and a lot of people just do them so they can like get a lot of views, and it's for like attention, and I really don't like that. So that's why I don't do it, and also because I don't really have a lot of stuff going on in my life, like drama wise, thank God. So this video is about the time where I crashed into a cop, I rear-ended a cop, and then he ended up flirting with me and asking for my number in front of my mom. So if you guys want to know that story, then you guys can go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so just a little bit of a background about me, my car. For those of you guys who watch my college vlogs, you know that I have the worst luck with my car. It has gotten towed like 2-3 times. I've gotten in numerous accidents, and it's crazy because I'm a really good driver. I promise you guys, I'm a really good driver. I started driving when I was like 16 years old. I got my license like normal, and as soon as I got my before I got my license, I got my car. This car was like my parents bought it for me. It's my car. This is the time where it was completely my fault, and I rear-ended somebody. So this time that I hit the officer, it was finals week. It was finals week, my sophomore year in college, and I'm over here, I'm driving, and I'm leaving. I remember I went to my friend Chantal. Y'all know Chantal, she's always in my vlogs and stuff. She had like a birthday dinner, and it was crazy because it was at like this fancy like bar place, and everybody was drinking. Thank God I did not drink. Like, I usually don't drink. I usually really don't drink, especially like when it's like going out and I have to drive and stuff. But I mean, everybody was drinking because it was finals week, and it was Cinco de Mayo, you guys. Y'all know how that is. Everybody was drinking, but I didn't drink. And my mom had just came into town because I had one more final. Well, my finals went all the way until Friday. This was Thursday night, I feel like. Yeah, it was Thursday night. I had one more final on Friday, and then I had to move out by Saturday. So my mom had came down to Atlanta to help me move out. And so I was like texting her while I was at the restaurant with my best friend, well, like with Chantal, and like for her birthday dinner. And she was like, you know, come to the hotel so you can like chill for a little bit, and then we'll ride to Spelman, we'll start packing up your stuff, and then that way when it's time for us to move out Friday night, Saturday morning, it's not too much to pack up. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right, whatever. So I leave the restaurant and I'm on my way to my mom's hotel, and I was driving and I didn't know where I was going because her hotel was like really, really far. So I had the navigation on my phone. Long story short, we were on our way. We had to turn to merge onto the highway. I think about what it was. You had to merge onto a highway, and there was just a regular car in front of me, and then there was a truck in front of him. And so there was like a light, and I'm like looking down, like trying to see like where is this my turn or not, and I see that the light is green. So I'm like driving, and then I look up and I had already hit him. I was like, ah! Like, you guys, you already know I have the worst luck with driving and my car. Like, I was so upset. I was like, why? I immediately started crying. Like, I'm such a crybaby when it comes to stuff like this. I was just like, I just got my car. Like, I was so upset, and I was just so confused because it was a green light, and I saw the green light. But then, like, I looked down to make sure that like I was making the right turn on my navigation, and I looked back up and I couldn't see the light, but everybody was going, and the next thing I know, and I had like, my car is messed up, okay? Like, I need to get my car fixed. Like, it needs its brakes tightened, it needs the, what's it called, oil change, it needs a deep conditioning on the inside. Like, my car is pretty like messed up, and so I think that even if I would have pressed my brakes, it wouldn't have happened fast enough. Like, I have to really like baby my brakes because they're that bad. And two, because by the time I was like I drive really close to people, which is a problem that I know that I've had for a really long time, and people have told me about it, and from now on I'm gonna fix it, but obviously I had to learn my lesson. So basically, I was driving really, really close to him, and so by the time I had noticed that I didn't even notice that he stopped. Like, I didn't even know how I hit him because I was just planning on driving. Like, it wasn't like oh, I couldn't stop in time. Like, I was like driving, and so, excuse me. So that's why the hit was so bad, because I didn't at no point in time press my brakes. I was like driving. So and I hit him, and then I like kept driving. I was like, what is going on? And I was like, oh gosh. No, I did not. No, I did not. So I was already upset. I was like, dang, I just hit this guy's car. I'm so upset. So first thing I do is like get out of my car, and I'm like shaking. I was shaking so bad. And I was just like, oh, please, 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 like, please don't let my car be like messed up that bad, because my mom had told me if you get in another car accident, you have to pay for it. Like, I am not paying for your car to get fixed again. I was like, no. So I looked out, and as soon as I got out the car first, and then he got out the car, why is this man in a police why is this man in a police get up? Like, he was in a police uniform. I was like, no, you're lying. That's all I kept saying to myself. I was like, you're lying. You are lying. This is not happening. I did not just rear in a cop, because the first time I hit my brother, there was nobody there. And then the second time I called my mom, and I was like, this guy just hit me on the road, like on my way home. But this time, like, it was all my fault. So because I knew that my mom was not going to like get my car fixed, I was already like really, really nervous, and I just could not believe that this had happened, because I did not expect for me to get a car. Who knows if they're going to get a car accident that day? Like, who knows? So basically, I get out the car, and so anyway, I was saying that the second time that I had gotten hit, the guy was like so apologetic to me because it was his fault, that when I called my mom, she's basically just like, you know, get his information, you know, he can get the car, like, he's going to basically have to pay for you to get the car fixed. So whatever. But this time I was like, oh shoot, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know, am I supposed to call the police? But like, you're here and you're police, like, are you on duty? Like, I hate, mark my words, I hate cops that are undercover. Like, I hate undercover cops. I hate cops that are in unmarked cars. I hate that. So basically, as soon as I saw him, I was already like about to cry. I was bawling. I was like, no, you're lying. This is not happening. And then he's basically like, calm down, like, it's okay. What happened? Were you texting and driving? And I was like, I wasn't texting. I was looking at my navigation. How did this happen? Why did you stop? And I was like trying to like yell at him, but like, when you rear end somebody, it's automatically your fault. So I was just kind of like, there's no, like, at this point, like, why even explain what happened? Am I going to jail? Like, what's gonna happen? What's really gonna happen? Like, I don't know. Like, I was sad because I knew that I had to follow the protocol because he was a cop. So at this point, it's kind of like late at night. It's not like that late, maybe like 10:30. And so I immediately, like, I'm like, I don't know what to do right now, and I don't want to say anything to like to get myself in trouble, because I just don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna call my mom and tell her to come, because like I was on my way to her hotel. So thank God, like, even though I was in Atlanta, and it's the only time I haven't gotten a ticket in Atlanta, I haven't gotten in a car accident, I haven't anything, like, guys, nothing. So I call my mom, and I'm like, she should only be like 15 minutes away, because I was really close. I was almost at the hotel. So I call my mom, and I tell her to come. And meanwhile, he's like, oh, I'm going to call backup or whatever. Like, you can wait in the car because it's cold. So I'm in my room. I'm in my car waiting for my mom to show up. And then another police officer comes. And he actually comes in a cop car. And he comes in a cop car, but it's like one of the vans, and it says on it like APD, like basically like the car that you keep actual criminals in, like a van where criminals will be in the back. I'm like, what is this guy doing here? Like, do we really need to bring somebody here? Mind you, my whole bumper is ruined, like so bad. It looked like the entire front of my car was like about to fall off. His car looked untouched. His car looked crisp, clean, like nothing had ever happened to it. Like, he had a couple scratches, and he literally was like, okay, it's good. So meanwhile, I'm still freaking out, because I'm just like, I have to get my whole car fixed. I have to drive home to, like, I was so stressed out. Like, mind you, this is finals week. I'm just like, I just want to go home. I'm so tired. Like, I just want to go home. Like, why does this happen to me? So I'm over here like being a brat, crying and crap. I'm waiting for my mom. And so meanwhile, when the second cop gets here, he's basically just like, did you get, like, was your bumper like this already? Like, was your bumper a little bit messed up? Because it makes no sense why your car looks so bad and his looks like it's not touched at all. And I'm like, I think it's because, like, honestly, I didn't press my brakes, because by the time I had looked up, I had already, like, bumped into him. What was the point of pressing my brake? Two cops here. The original guy that I had hit, and he was in the unmarked car, and then the guy who came in the cop car. So I'm just like, I don't really know, like, how this works, so I'm just gonna wait for my mom to get here. So I'm gonna wait in my car. So I wait in my car, and the other guy waits in his car, and then the guy who had came in the second, like the actual APD car, which is the Atlanta Police Department, he's like leaning on the side of my door. And I'm like, excuse me, sir, like I kind of want to close my door, like I'm trying to cry in private, one, and two, it's like cold. I'm just trying to be like alone, like let me be alone. And he's like, what's wrong, Buttercup? Like, what's going on? First off, Buttercup? Who are you calling Buttercup? And I was like so like, you know, out of it. I was like, I mean, would you be happy if you just like got in a car accident? Like, I know, but it's okay. Like, you know, we may not even have to like really take his information, like your information, because his car is basically untouched. Like, he's not gonna, not press charges, but file a claim. That's what it was. And I was just like, okay, that's great. I still have to wait for my mom to get here because I don't know what to do. And so he just like proceeds to like get my information just in case. So he gets like my name, and then he's like, you know, what's your address? And I'm like, you want my Spelman address or my mom and dad's address? Like, which one do you want? And he basically just like, which one would I pick? Like, which one would I use to pick you up for a date? What? I'm like, sir, what? What are you talking about? So that was strike one, or like strike two. Then he basically like, what's your phone number? So I'm like, you know, I was about to give y'all my phone number. Whoop, skirt. But I tell him my phone number, and he basically just like, okay, by the way, I didn't use your phone number. This is for personal records. What? What are you talking about? What is happening right now? I'm like, sir, I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but this is not the time. Now, let me give y'all a little bit of description about this man. He's not an ugly man at all. He's maybe like 6'3", he's like buff, he's dark skinned, he's tall, he has a nice beard on him. He's a good looking guy, but he was like old. But yeah, this guy was basically like really old. Like, to me, he looked maybe like 28, I would say, maybe like 28, 29. So I was automatically just like, I mean, I'm not against dating nobody older. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not. But it wasn't the time. I had too much going on. It was finals week. I just got in a car crash. My mom was here. I was trying to focus. I had to move out. Y'all know how stressed I get when you have to move out your dorm. I was just ready to go home. I was like, boy, this is not the time. And then after he proceeds to ask me for my number, he's basically just like, you know, how would you feel about going out with me? And I look at him, and he's like, too much going on at the right time. And I was like, yeah, what do you think? It's not the right time. And he was like, I mean, it just seems like you're so stressed out. I could really take you out to have a good time. I'm like, are you serious right now? I was like, do you even know how old I am? And he was like, I know, and I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man. And I'm like, yeah, you're a grown man. And he's like, he goes on, and he's basically just like, exactly, like, I have a house. I have a car. I have 2 cars. Okay? What does that have to do with me? And he's like, so I could take you out, have a good time. I'm pretty sure you probably live on. He's like, let me guess, you live on campus. You know, you eat that dorm food. I don't know what dorm food is, but this is what he said. He said, you eat that dorm food. I could take you out. And I was like, I'm high maintenance. If I'm going out with anybody, it's going to be Red Lobster. It's going to be Cheesecake Factory. It's going to be Maggiano's. I'm like, are you ready for that? He said, I can definitely do that for you. So here's my number. I go, whoa. Like, calm it down. Bring it down. Knock it down a couple notches. This is not a thing. This is not actually happening. No. With me until finally my mom gets there. So when my mom comes up, she immediately goes to the other cop who was in the unmarked car. And she's basically just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what happened. And he's just like, oh, this is your mom. Like, she's so beautiful. She looks just like you. Yeah, I know. Thank you. And so he's just like, how would your mom feel if I asked her on a date? And I'd be like, she would probably think that you were crazy. And I'm like, you don't have the balls to do that anyway. Like, I dare you to ask my mom. Ask my mom to ask me out on a date. And ask my mom if you can ask me out on a date. And he was like, I bet you I will. And if she says yes, can I go out with you? And I'm like, yeah. If my mom says yes, I can go out with the APD after I just hit him in the back of the car. Yes, I will go out with you because y'all, he's gonna pay for me. I'm a broke college student, okay? What girl will not go on a date with a guy for free food? Like, he talking about he really about to spend some money on me. Yes, I will definitely. If my mom says yes, I will definitely go on this date with you. And I don't necessarily need my mom's permission, but you know, I just felt like if she said yes, I would really do it. I would really do it. And so I go ahead and I tell him, I said, this is what I want you to do. My mom's going to come to you. She's going to ask what's going on. You know, you're going to ahead and tell her, like, oh, you know, we're not going to file a claim. Everything's fine, blah, 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 blah. And then I want you to say, but ma'am, I need to talk to you. Can I pull you over to the side? It's very important. And then I want you to ask her on a date. And I said, like, make her, like, really scared as if, like, you're going to, like, say something really important and then say that or whatever. And so everything happens. He talks to my mom. He's basically just like, you know, we're not going to file a claim. Everything is fine. Blah, blah, blah. He keeps trying to have conversation with her. I can tell that he was nervous. He's basically just like, yeah, so you all are going back home in a couple of days. Because, like, we had been talking for a good, like, 30 minutes because my mom had got lost, whatever. So we were talking for a really long time. And I didn't tell him, like, my life story or anything, but he had gotten the gist of what was going on. So yeah, he was having a lot of small talk with her, and my mom was already kind of like mad, annoyed, tired, ready to go. So she basically like, okay. So again, thank you so much, sir. Like saying, yeah, because you know, and I was just like, okay, like if you're not gonna do it, it's time to go. Like it's time to go. So I say like, okay, well, thank you again so much, officer so and so. I'm not gonna give his name. They're like, you know, thank you so much, officer so and so. Like, bye. And he goes, okay, yeah, bye, have a nice day. And then I go to my car, and then my mom goes to his car. So then he goes and he says, actually, Miss Hunt, I actually have to speak to you real quick about something. And I'm like, oh, he's actually gonna do it, okay. So I get into my car, and I literally at this point, like, I have a million emotions. I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm like cracking up laughing because like this guy is actually about to ask my mom if he can ask me out on a date. All this stuff is going on. He goes to my mom and he basically like, I don't know what he says to her, but he says it or whatever. And my mom pushes him. She pushes him and she gets in his car, gets in her car. And I'm over here like, oh my God, like what's going on? And then we go on, proceed to leave. So later on when I go in my dorm and we're like packing up stuff, I'm like, you know mom, that cop was like hitting on me the entire time. Like that's how I kept calling you and rushing you like, where are you at? Hurry up, come and get me. And she was like, I know. When he pulled me over to the side, he started off talking about somehow I smelled alcohol in your daughter's breath. And I said, first off, that's a lie because I was not drinking that night. And she said, I know. He basically just ended up saying that so that way he could tell me like, can I ask her out on a date? And I asked him how old he was. And he said he was 35. I was like, whoa, I didn't know he was 35. That's really, really old. And yeah, that's basically the end. Like, you know, me and my mom were talking about it, and she basically, like, of course my mom doesn't want me to date somebody who's that much older than I am. My mom was completely against it, but like I said, I wouldn't have been that against it if he was really cute or if I wasn't, like, so stressed out. But yeah, that's basically the story about the time where I rear-ended a cop, and then he ended up asking me out on a date. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please give it a thumbs up if you thought it was hot fire. And I will see you guys in my next video. If you guys like story times, make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know, because if not, this may be my first and last story time. And yeah, so subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.